Hi everyone, it's Leslie Oman from Hungry Heavy Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is an extra special day because we are teaming up Chibitronics with Lawn Fawn. Anyone who knows my videos knows that I enjoy using both of these products, and today I'm sharing a special project because it's not a card. It is this fun light up 3D box, and what better elements to use than the Lawn Fawn Mermaid for You collection. I just love the way that this lights up and you can see all of the marine life inside my little box. To start this project, I've pulled out a couple of sets from Lawn Fawn. I've got Mermaid for You, Critters of the Sea, and also some border dies. I also have in my stash this die which cuts out a box. However, Lawn Fawn does have a very similar one, so you can use some of the tips and techniques that I use in this video to recreate this project using that die. To create the box, I am first cutting out 2 panels using some sturdy white cardstock, and then I'm using a scoring tool just to help crease along each of those lines. That helps me make sure that my box folds nicely when I go to assemble everything together. Next, I want to cut a hole in front of the box that I can see in. So using a craft knife and a ruler, I'm cutting out a rectangle on this largest panel of the box. Using some spare white cardstock, I've drawn 2 lines in pencil, the width of my box. And now I'm going to be using some of the border dies to cut out a couple of panels which will help me create my scene, my 3D scene inside the interior of my box. Now let's move over to the stamping. I'm using my MISTI tool because this allows me to stamp a whole bunch of images all at once. I line my stamp up on my piece of card, fold it over the lid to pick up the stamped images, then I can simply ink them up using some Copic friendly ink. I like to stamp mine a couple of times to make sure I get a nice crisp impression. I just love these little images. I think they are so adorable, and I love the way that Lawn Fawn always includes not just main characters but also lots of supporting images as well in their stamp sets. I also really enjoy these solid images such as the coral and the little seaweed or kelp. I think this really helps to build a scene and to make your project come to life. After I had used the coordinating dies to cut out all those little teeny weeny pieces of kelp and coral, I decided to colour in my images using some Copic markers. I've got quite a lot of marker colouring to do today, so let's speed through this so I can be sure to have time to show you how I made the box. The coordinating dies makes everything so easy to cut out and makes a project like this go much quicker. Don't they all just look adorable sitting there together? Now I can take each of my little border panels and add some colour to create a illusion of a sea floor, and then I can build up my 3D scene. I'm using my distress inks to add the colour to these panels, and I'm using a sandy colour but also adding some blue because I really want this to look like it's underwater. Next, I'm cutting some acetate so that it's the same size as the front panel of my card. I'm going to stick these behind each of my little seafloor panels, so then I have a couple of layers and I can stick on each of my elements so it looks like they're really floating in the sea. Let's not forget to add some blue and green colours to the inside of my box, so when it's all closed up it really gives a true underwater feel. Now for the super fun bit, I get to build the design of the 3D image. First of all, I'm going to work for the front panel, and then I'm going to add a couple of elements, but I'm going to make sure that I layer them one on top of the other so I can see what the full picture will look like. I want to add some elements to the bottom to ground and really create the illusion of a sea floor, but also I want some elements floating on the acetate so it has quite a magical feel. You'll notice that each of these panels have a little tab on the left and on the right hand side, and that's really important. That's what's going to help us stick each of these layers to the side panel of the box, and these are also going to play an important role when creating our Chibitronics circuit. In this project, I'm using a blue light and a green light from the multicolored lights kit, and also some of the copper tape and a little 3-volt battery. Let's go now and take a closer look at the circuit so you can see how it is all put together. I've cut out another box here to help you visualize and focus on the circuit we're going to make today. We're going to have 2 panels here. Although my project uses 4, this is a more simplified way to help you understand. I'm going to show you how to attach each of these panels and also talk a little about the switch. We want a switch to be at this top area of our box where the handles meet. So when you push them together, it will connect the circuit and make our lights light up. I'm going to start by drawing a pencil line 1/8 of an inch up from that bottom crease of my box. This will help me when it comes to positioning my copper tape. I'm also going to draw a line on each of my little panels the same distance up from that bottom edge. This means when everything's assembled, the copper tape will line up perfectly. Next, I'm going to grab a little piece of copy paper, which will allow me to create a little flap which will hold my battery in place. Next, I'll add some foil tape along that left panel into the inside of where I've put that copy paper. I'm going to turn it up a little bit so that there's a bit more of that foil underneath the battery. Next, I'm going to add some of the foil tape from the handle of my box right the way down to the top of my battery. I'm going to do this by placing it on top of that little flap of copy paper. I'll just trim it slightly shorter, but notice that the copy paper is longer than the battery. That's because I want to fold it back so the foil will sit right on top of the top of my battery. Now for the other side of my card, I'm going to add some more of this copper tape, but I'll zigzag along the bottom, up the side, along the top just above that frame, and then up onto the handle. Now it's time to add some of this copper tape to each of our panels. We're going to take each of the lights that we want and figure out where we want to put them. Then we'll add some of that foil tape along the pencil line, leaving a little gap for where we're going to stick our LED on top. Make sure that you do this on the back of each of your panels so that it's not visible whenever you look in through the window. Notice how I'm adding the copper tape on both sides of each of the flaps on both the left and the right of these panels. When we fold each of these flaps forwards, we're going to be able then to stick these to each of the shorter sides of our box, and the current will flow from the battery along that left side, along the front panel through the light, all the way to the other short side of our box, and zigzag all the way up to the switch and back round to the battery, creating a complete circuit and a little bright light. I would recommend you start with the furthest back panel and do everything on the left hand side before you move over to the right. I admit it's a little tricky and a little fiddly, but before too long you're going to have a project like this, and it looks amazing. All we need to do now is add a little bit of glue and stick the whole 4 sides together, and then secure the base. I like to use some glossy accents or some strong adhesive to do this. When the glue is dry, my project is complete, and the real fun thing is I can just simply assemble it all together, which connects the 2 pieces of copper tape at the top and turns on my little lights. Now, I didn't want to waste my battery, so I cut another piece using this box die and trimmed off just that little handle bit that goes along the top. And when I don't want my light on, I simply sandwich that between the 2 sides of my box so that it acts as a barrier between the 2 copper tapes. I just love the way this project turned out, and the Mermaid for You stamp set was perfect for creating this underwater scene. I think it's really fun, especially when you move the box. Those different layers give such dimension, and because you have some acetate in there, it almost looks like the fish are swimming when you move the box from side to side. This project was made for part of a Chibitronics and Lawn Fawn collaboration. So be sure to jump on over to the Chibitronics website and have a look at the project gallery, and also take a look at the blog as well, because we've got some fun projects over there from all of the other talented ladies on the teams. And if you have any questions at all, please do be sure to contact me. Just visit my blog, Hungry Heffy Crafts, and click on the Contact Me section. Until next time, happy crafting! Thank you so much for watching this video. Here's some more videos that you may like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to make sure that you don't miss any of my other videos as soon as they're released. You can also leave me a like and a comment down here, and don't forget to follow me on social media at Hungry Heffy. I'll see you there. Have a great day and happy crafting! Bye!